if you're going to run for the presidency of the United States, you should take the time to explore the challenges that are faced. Talk to people that have proven experience in the field. Listen. Have the humility to listen before you have an opinion. And then recognize the power of the presidency as it relates to crafting foreign policy and do it in a way that is true to our values. And I believe I have those skills.
Well, welcome back to the Daily Wrap. To catch more of J.D. Hayworth's interview with the former Florida Governor Jeb Bush, tune into Newsmax Prime at 8 p.m. all next week. I want to go back to the last segment because Steve had something he wanted to say about Lincoln Chafee. Right. I'm not denying any man his say on Lincoln Chafee.
First of all, in 15 minutes, so we'll have Mike Huckabee and Rick Santorum on the Steve Mollsberg show, 15 minutes. But also, I said at the debate, all Lincoln Chafee needed was the alfalfa hair. So his announcement today that he was leaving the race, he left out the fact that he had a consultation with Spanky, Stymie, and Buckwheat, and that Mrs. Crabtree said, use your own judgment. But I guess, you know, he got out of the race.
Can we have a moment of silence for Lincoln Chafee? Okay, we had our moment. All right, now let's have some fun. Let's read your viewer comments. First up, we have a comment about Lincoln Chafee dropping out of the race, or about Steve's alfalfa comparison. Jason says, I hear Chafee supporters plan to mourn the loss on the golf links today if the weather holds. That, of course, is if they can find a fourth. Very funny. Very good. Jason. And here's a comment on the Muslim refugees. John says, in defending his apology for the violence done by Muslims, Rick Unger said, according to my Bible, you should stone people who commit adultery. I would ask Mr. Unger, when was the last time Christians stoned anybody for adultery? When was the last time a Muslim murdered an innocent Christian or Jew just because they were a Christian Jew? Quick answer is, number one, I'm not a Christian. I'm a Jew, so I don't know why you asked what about a Christian. And number two, I didn't apologize for anybody. Don't be ridiculous. All I said was that just because there are some very evil Muslims in the world doesn't mean every refugee, every little child who was bombed out of their house doesn't need to have somewhere to go. Here's one on Hillary Clinton. Carol says, I believe Hillary is a liar. And how does she relate to anyone, let alone the middle class? When was the last time she made a meal, shopped for her family, drove a car? Guys, that's an interesting question. And doesn't that speak to virtually all of the candidates who run for office? Say that. Go ahead, Heather, say it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's the thing. It's not so much, she is right, that she can't relate, but can Donald Trump? When's the last time that he drove his own car? I think that what it's going to come down to is who speaks to them as far as who's going to solve their problems, who's going to allow me to be able to shop for my groceries.
The truth is, if we're being honest, probably the only person who has been driving his own car and probably has gone to the supermarket is Ben Carson.
I think there's a lot more than Ben Carson. I think Rick Santorum, I would imagine Mike Huckabee. I think a lot of them. I mean, I think everyone on the Democrat side, whoever's left, except for Hillary. But I don't think driving your car or going to the supermarket really qualifies. I think being able to relate to the average person, Donald Trump employs tens of thousands of average people and goes to his sites, goes to where the workers are. I think, when's the last time Hillary ever employed anybody or ran a business or anything? I think Trump is more relatable than Hillary.
Well, I don't think Hillary's run a business, but she certainly employs people.
In the State Department? In government?
Well, no, even as in private.
In the Clinton Foundation. You mean like she employed Sidney Blumenthal while he was advising her on Libya?
Why do we care so much about Sidney Blumenthal?
Why? Because he was one of her chief email. So what? She, as Secretary of State, received more emails from him advising her on Libya than anybody else, and she admitted. She said she didn't know where Blumenthal was getting his advice from, and she would cross out his name and pass it on to people.
Well, we know why that was, though, because
but that's
the Obama administration had forbidden her.
Right. So that's why we care about Blumenthal.
I think it was too much of a big deal yesterday,
not
honestly.
Not at all.
And they never drove home the point of why it was a big deal to
I think they made the same point I just made.
Gowdy. I don't know. All right. Regarding the Benghazi committee, speak of the devil, Doug says, why was Clinton not asked the question of why Ambassador Stevens was in Libya when he was killed? She would, of course, taken the fifth, since the Dems do not want the American people to know that this was about gun running to Al-Qaeda. Now, obviously, you got some of your answer in an earlier segment. I don't know if it's fair to say it was to Al-Qaeda. It was to dissidents in Syria.
Says, I mean, look, I don't doubt that, but says who? What do you mean it was? Hillary was asked about it yesterday, specifically near the end, and she was told, I don't know if you could address this in open session. You could. She said, no. Gun running to Syria, gun running to Libya, gun running to anybody. No, no, no. So maybe if you say it's definite, then she perjured herself. Or no one told the Secretary of State.
Yeah, it is weird that she did that. I have to go back and look at that segment because I don't believe she didn't know either.
Well,
and I absolutely
then let's indict her.
That's what was
you
going
don't get
on.
Don't get indicted for perjury.
Anybody else have anything to say before we finish the segment about trashing Hillary?
You can find Lincoln Chafee every morning on Fox and Friends. I think it's Steve Doocy.
I
Isn't that
doubt
right?
it. Steve Doocy. All right. If you want to weigh in on any of the issues we talk about here on the show, be sure to send us your comments at newsmaxtv.com/comments. You should have that memorized by now. As you can see, we'll even read them on the air. Coming up next, time for Yay or Nay. This is the Daily Wrap.